Hello, Polytopians! The Polytopia World Championship qualifiers have officially wrapped up, and the grand face-off is happening this weekend. The final 2 spots have now been claimed. Today, we'll be showing you the Chinshi qualifier, won by Le Liberateur, and the Luxidor qualifier, taken by Meisterlamp. First, we'll head to the mountainous Xin-xi Empire, where opposing armies fought across rough terrain with archers, riders, catapults, swordsmen, and of course, the mighty knights. Then we'll visit the wealth-loving Luxidor to witness the clash between Omux and Luxidor forces in a nail-bitingly close final. If you'd like to follow the qualifiers, all the details are in the description. Let's get started!
Hello everyone, VGTube here. Welcome to the stream. Today we have the last qualifier for you. It's Chinshi and Luxidor. All the other qualifiers are done. So next, this coming weekend, we'll have the face-off. So with me today, very renowned guests. Let's meet them. Hello, guys.
Hi there.
So first of all, Tolbby, who is known from his Sunday Polytopia streams. If you haven't subscribed to his channel yet and haven't seen the streams, go and sub. The link is in the description, and I will also paste it in the chat in a moment. And the other guest is also a great friend of Polytopia, Wannyboy. Hi, Wanny. First time on our World Championship stream. So Wanny is a pro player on Polychamps, very well-known figure in the Polytopia community. So he'll definitely have a lot of insights and good points about the games. Alrighty, so let's kick things off with the Chinshi qualifier. Le Liberateur took the win there. So Tolbby, let's so show us what. Let's see what happened there.
Alrighty, so to really quickly jump into this one, Xin-xi's actually gotten quite a bit of an improvement with the recent changes. They used to be one of those slower tribes, despite being able to get vision really, really fast. Well, I can try to explain it as best as I can. Wannyboy will be the better one to explain all the changes that has happened for Xin-xi and was put him in a better position.
Well, Chinshi these days is actually a really nice tribe to play as. It might still not be at the same level as the top tribes, but Chinshi now starts with 7 stars, instead of 5 stars, which means they can get their big mines, their big fortresses up a lot faster. They also got a very nice buff in that you can now put fortresses on top of the forests. So that means that those forests will no longer be in the way. So in general, it just means Chinshi will now get their giants up a lot faster and a lot more consistently. They're now, in my opinion, again, a really fun tribe to play as.
That on top of the extra vision that they get to have, especially with the ability to climb on these mountains, we're going to be able to see a lot more than our opponents right from the get-go. So unfortunately, I have the names of both players, but I can't. We have Hyperbore versus
Liberateur.
Le Liberateur.
Which one's Liberateur, our qualifier?
That's a passenger. The right one, the brown Chinshi.
The brown one
that we will be watching for.
Alrighty, so our champion is going to be the one currently playing as the Hoodrick Brown, using Chapeau skin up here in the north versus their opponent Hyperbore, who, in my opinion, in this instance, actually looks like they may have a much better spawn in this game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, look at all those resources around. Meanwhile, the Liberateur is just sitting there right next to the water, but not quite close enough to get onto the water itself. So he will probably be struggling with finding anything nice all that soon.
Yep, just looking at the starting resources, we got 2 natural ways for both the players to potentially go, but we also have a great way of exploration. Are we still starting off with Warriors as Xin-xi on the first turn? For that...
Go ahead.
In order to get a more consistent expansion game plan going?
I personally definitely would start out with Warriors, because even if you start out with Warriors, you can still get your mining up, get your forges before you capture your next village, thanks to those extra stars.
Thanks to all those extra stars. So without further ado, let's go ahead and scout out our surroundings. Immediately stepping onto the mountains, and both players are coincidentally heading to the west right from the get-go.
I mean, if you look at this, Hyperbore has a lot of land. Meanwhile, Le Liberateur, he's getting a lot of water. So he might have the water access, but I don't think he will have the big economy to go with that.
Yeah, he may have the smaller economy at the start of the game, but that early water access can make a huge difference. Oh, we're going to have a really big scouting play, being able to find not only the watchtower, but our opponent in his capital. Oh, and a second lighthouse.
Damn, what an explorer that was.
Meanwhile, we're going to be able to see... I got to pull the name up here to the side. Lily Barreter is still actually not getting a whole bunch of expansion going. Did he get a workshop in his city here
yes,
in the west?
I think he did. He might not have wanted to get an explorer because it is on the edge of the lake. But, I mean, he's Chinshi. He can use a mountain. He can cross a mountain, so he wouldn't really get stuck there. Anyway, I think he assumed he would really need all the economy he could get.
We're going to be getting our first lighthouse for Lily Barreter. Good. He's going to be able to find his opponent in the south. And there it is, thanks to the power of Xin-xi, stepping on the mountain and finding a site no one wants to find. Turn 6, giant.
I mean, I told you Chinshi has good economy by now. And by the way, look, in the west, we will be having a duel for that small little village. And because Liberateur stopped to take this ruin, that actually means he will be the last one, the second one to the village. So he won't be able to claim it.
Yep. Unfortunately, since he didn't bring back up, that lack of exploring and that vision is actually going to make it to where he's going to lose the fight for this. He, in fact, actually has the chance. He has enough vision. Is he going to get a free bop? Because his opponent will be able to kill.
If he attacks it now, then his opponent will capture and he still can't kill the opponent. So attacking now just to weaken his own unit. I think it's a good choice here not to attack.
That's very true. Alrighty, so we already can see that, the juggernauts are jumping onto the water. Luckily, Hyperbore was able to get some water access. This village is so far away from everything. Even if he's being able to build some roads, they are 1, 2, 3, at least 3 spaces away before even be able to offer a little bit of assistance.
On top of that, the water access that he has, I mean, it is 3 tiles, but the 3 tiles are right in front of his opponent's juggernauts. I mean, you don't want to put your ships in water right there.
Yep, absolutely. And looks like this is going to be his only water access until he gets one more border throw and immediately picks up trade. Those riders, roads, trade, bombers coming out from Lily Barter. That is going to make this city so hard to defend. Look at all of this prime real estate specifically set up to be able to apply pressure for essentially free.
Le Liberateur said, you can have the land, but I will have the water.
Looks like Hyperbore is going to have to do a border growth. And in fact, Lily Barter did his own reactive border growth in order to steal this tile away from his opponent. So he has even less water access. And he gets another bomber.
These are just splashing so hard. Although he doesn't actually go for a siege with his giants. Because, well, he knows he knows Hyperbore would have just moved the giant away. So instead, he's saying, okay, I'm going to kill your units. I'm not going to go for this village right now. What do you think about that?
I actually agree with trying to play this slow and steady. As long as there's these tiles somebody else can step onto, there's always a chance of a Houdini. So he's playing this nice and safe. And with these walls, he knows that this city, essentially right here, can't produce any units. We're getting the walls built up, getting the roads, does a catapult push, and at this point, one of the two giants is gone, while the other one is trying to apply additional pressure to the catapult here in the rear. Oh, and a misplaced giant makes this catapult completely rendered useless. Slow and steady, and once again, as we were just pointing out, this prime area right over here, he is slowly moving units into the water, and he gets a siege in this west.
I mean, oh, yeah. Well, Hyperwar is still able to push it out. So, sadly, no new city for him. But, I mean, he still has a lot of pressure on the giant as well. He can still shoot it with a bomber, but keep in mind, he did border growth. So that means he now has a few port spots in the west as well. He's no longer just stuck with supports in the middle.
If you're in Hyperwar's view, what are you looking for in the comeback from this game? Because this water access is really oppressive.
Well, I mean, in the west, you might have some ways to start playing. There's 2 tiles wide, not too much difficult terrain there. Maybe some place with bridges. Another option, you can't really use cloaks. The east is not very accessible. So really, it's economy and try to build something up in the west. Probably some ships all the way in the back, some melee units in front of them to make sure they are protected. Oh, he's going straight in the front, trying to get some water access and get some more water access on both sides right here.
This is very key right here to point out. Now we have 2 additional tiles that we could road our units to. It's going to make it a lot trickier, and his opponent immediately sees that potential access, and look at this. Immediately is applying defense, putting units onto the tiles so that way the opponents can't step onto the water that easily. Gets another border growth or gets another giant on the capital in order to defend it. This catapult has only 1 HP. There's the bridge. There's a port trying to do everything he can to prevent his opponent from sneaking in. But look over here on the west. What is that? First of many.
Cloak. First cloak.
The cloaks are really starting to come in. But look at this. The Juggernaut in the water is still alive. So we did actually manage to get some water presence. This might be a turning point.
And I see some knights.
Yeah, exactly. He predicted the cloaks quite well. Got knights in return. And now he's able to work against it. But the opponent also has a knight. So this will be going both ways, I think.
Oh,
yes,
no!
Nice.
5-6 chain!
Devastating.
All of that presence in the west is absolutely gone. There's another cloak. He still has the ability to put up the drawbridge, but it's going to be real difficult with every single one of these daggers here. Rushes the riders in. Rushing both the knights, trying to clear out every single one of these units. Will it be enough?
Oh no, he can't do it, but he still has a push left. So the city is saved for Hyperwar.
The power of this economy is actually coming in key. Normally, you have to be wary about how much you're spending on every single night, but we have more than 8 stars being produced from every single city. He could absolutely churn out these knights, one after another, and there's a cloak! That border growth is coming to bite him in the rear.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the other side, Le Liberateur, he has 3 markets, but a lot smaller, so that's also a real big difference in this game. And look there, he's starting to really push forward with his giants. Now 2 Juggernauts in the water, while Liberateur only has... Well, he doesn't have any Juggernauts left in the water. So at the moment, it looks like Hyperwar is actually starting to really come back onto the water.
I am loving what I'm seeing here. The drawbridge to prevent any form of counterplay, because if there were units to block off all that water access... He has the economy to just plant a bridge, and that's a counter siege.
And bridge is gone again. Like I said, the drawbridge really comes into play.
We've actually got our first signs of a knight coming in from the east and actually applying a bunch of pressure. 1 knight to kill 1 knight. But does he have enough? Throws in a second just to get his units out of there.
But the bombers actually have to start pulling back now because they're under threat of the Juggernaut.
Look at that. With the president of this Juggernaut, he's applying so much to the pressure to the city of Pogu. That's a siege. And unless he can do a giant push, this giant is preventing any form of defense. There's nothing there.
I mean, if you look at the top side, yeah, this is going to be game, I think. Not
if
to
he's
here.
Unable to do anything in response, that's it. Lilleborter ends up resigning this game. But this was one of the few group stage games. This one was an amazing game played by both players. 5-5 cities. It literally came down to these literal micromanaged. No, it was a 4-5 city game, but with this water presence. It's actually really amazing to see how much of a difference it makes to have extra production versus water superiority.
Yeah, in this case, it was also just Hyperbore had so many more giants. Of this entire game, by the end, the reason Hyperbore managed to claim the water was he had the Juggernauts. The Liberateur didn't have any more Juggernauts left.
All right, so where in this game do you think Lilleborter ended up losing a lot of his presence? Because you're saying that the Giants really made a huge turning point in this entire game.
Sorry, Tolbby, to jump in, but there's I can't hear the game sounds.
Oh, the game sounds are off, so we can focus on the talk. I can turn them back on.
Yeah. Yes, please.
All right. So, well, one thing we see
here. Still can't hear them. Yeah, sorry. Nope.
I hear the ambient sounds at least. Or is that you doing this?
No, the music. It's me that it's playing. No, I still can't hear them.
Well, while Tolbby is sounds.
Yeah.
So right here, where we're looking at now, we see that Liberateur really has the advantage with his giants coming to push in. And he leaves the city open because he thinks, well, there will become a giant push anyway. That is true. However, he is also not sieging with his warriors. And I think that might actually be one of his key mistakes here. He doesn't siege with his giants, which is acceptable, but not sieging with his warriors. That, I think, have been one of his mistakes in this game. On top of that, well, the other giant is walking forwards. It is going to eventually die. It is a giant all the way alone in the front. I mean, it does get some bomber support, but this giant is not going to be able to accomplish anything other than just stalling Hyperbore for a while. It's going to die, as we see here. And so I think in this way, Hyperbore was playing defensively for most of the game, and Hyperbore managed to kill a lot of Liberateur giants that were coming in.
So I definitely want to bring up to around this point as we're seeing constant chains coming out over here. Look at this water presence that we have. But we also have so much space here on the east that nothing is happening. So every single resource that is going in is focusing over here in order to protect the city on the west. Unfortunately, it was really, really difficult for Lilleborter in order to get some form of presence here in the east. Because in this case, instead of having to defend in 3 separate areas, we're only having to defend in essentially 2. So while we're sitting here playing defense here in the center of the map, every other resource is going here for the west, whereas Lilleborter is actually diverting everything, pretty much spreading his resources thin, attacking what feels like almost like 3 or 4 different directions. So despite having less production and making good use of cloaks, the extra focus being able to go into the west based off of this defense that happened is actually what caused this game to be able to be turned around, despite having this naval superiority.
One of the reasons he was able to divert those resources as well is he has those 2 catapults set up to control the middle city. Le Liberateur knows if he lands something there, it's going to die to the catapults. So Hyperbore also doesn't need to invest a lot more into the middle city as long as he knows I can take out a giant that lands there either through a push or by sending in a lot of units at it. He doesn't need to worry about anything else happening. Unless Le Liberateur would really go all in, send scouts to hit the catapults, like he's doing here. That would be the one scenario, but even then the catapults are still alive and he has those pushes in his back pockets. And that, in my opinion, is also another reason why it might be better for Le Liberateur to siege the center city a bit earlier, to take away the option to push. If Le Liberateur had sieged the center city at an earlier point in the game, in that case, Hyperbore might not have had the option to border grow. He might have had to population grow to get a giant really quickly, and then he would have had a lot less space to work with.
An excellent game played by both. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out. I'm going to start bringing up the other game. Was there any other points you wanted to bring up onto here?
I think we already discussed everything that was happening in this game, yeah.
No, very cool game. Very, like a fair map for both sides, even though Hyperbore had 5 CDs to 4. Yeah.
So I don't have the bracket, but this was actually one of the most interesting game played by Lillibotter in the group stage. How did Lillibotter end up performing at the end, near the end of after the group stage? What was his final score?
I have it standing here. He won 6 out of his 8 matches. So this is one of the only 2 matches that he lost.
It's very impressive, and this is one of the only matches he lost. I'm really excited to see how he won all the others. There we go. Without further ado, let's bring up the other map. So this one is not we're going to find our game stats. Once again, it could be played on lakes. We have Lillibotter playing as the Red Chapeau, the Chinshi player, versus that looks like a Asava. Asava? That is 3 Vs.
I have no idea how we should pronounce this. But yeah, also definitely another really good player. And I think it might be interesting for this one to... Are we going to remove the fog here? It is a really interesting map layout. Yeah, let's do it.
We can remove the fog. Replay fog has been removed.
So if you look at this, we can see that Asa actually has the entire north controlled, whereas Lillibateur is locked to his tiny peninsula. So this will really be a game for Lillibateur to try to escape his peninsula if he wants any chance at all of winning this game.
This one is going to be very interesting because we're going to have to definitely bring up the distances between the two, where as we have 3 suburbs immediately adjacent to Asava, we only have the 2 for Lillibotter, but this one right here, we have a potential bridge. That's not going to do too much, but it's going to allow them to get control over this. I'm going to just call that a minor lake over here on the eastern side. And depending on, as long as we get the port set over here on the western side, look at all this space that could essentially be locked down.
Yep. But when I had the first look at this game, I was like, what's that? Is it Pangea or like
I actually had to look to see if it was Pangea or not. I was confused for a moment. But one other important thing to point out is I don't think we're really going to see much of the Eye of God on this map, not unless we have some crazy bridge play, which would make me very excited heading here into the south. But that's a 5-star investment, though it would be for 2 ruins. So
I mean, but you wouldn't know there are 2 ruins over there. I think that's one of the key things. If you know there's 2 ruins, always go for the bridge. But I mean, you don't. It's a gamble.
Yep. So what we are seeing here, though, is excellent resources here in these 2 directions for Lillibotter. But I also want to point out, look at this mountain density. We have a fully level 4 forge able to be placed at least here. We see a potential level 3, a potential level 3. The economy in this game for our northern player is going to be amazing.
Oh, let's add in a ruin to the mix. Why not?
And there's a ruin. More than likely already having metal, as we know Xin-xi.
Oh, for sure.
We also have one very interesting little point right over here. This minor land bridge heading in and out of the village.
Oh, wait. We might actually want to wait here. Go back a little bit. So we see here, Le Liberateur is standing on the village in the east. If you go forward one turn, Le Liberateur does not capture.
Interesting.
And
yes.
we might want to turn off the fog for this. The shared fog. Because if you look here, Le Liberateur sees that Asava is right there. Le Liberateur knows by now I am on a peninsula. If I do not get that village, I'm locked here and I will lose the game.
Yeah, very smart.
So he says, screw this one village. I'm going all in just to try to have a chance of getting out of here.
Very smart, yes.
That is a very, very important thing to witness, specifically because of this little terrain right here. That is an excellent thing to be witnessing. And
Asava doesn't have the vision, so...
And unfortunately, it's because of lack of vision, ends up having to just get a workshop, which will help the economy, but immediately loses a warrior trade. And look at this. We have 4 warriors being poured in from the north, whereas we already have archery able to apply a siege.
Nice.
So instead of fighting for the village, he's fighting for his own life.
Le Liberateur didn't even go for mining. He went straight for archery, and now all of these shops... just to get some minor fighting chance, he's really fighting an uphill battle here, trying to get out. But with those archers, with his forests, he might be able to do it. Ooh, that forest spot.
We're actually going to be... We're going to be seeing Asava actually deciding, I'm going to rush for that economy, get those giants, but giants are slow. So we're going to see if these giants could be able to apply enough pressure to his opponent while he picks up the ruin here in the eastern side, because he knows that warriors versus archers is no good matchup, and immediately is looking for other alternatives because he's going to lose the head-on fight.
Yeah, but Le Liberateur is sneaking a warrior in the west, trying to get this village.
Look at that, winning another race. His opponent picks up the ruin, but Lillibotter is going to be getting that village and going from a 3-village game to still has one safely here in the southeastern side of the map, but is able to sneak in another village here on the eastern corner.
And I mean, those giants, they are very big, very threatening, but if you just keep shooting enough arrows or shurikens at them, they will eventually die.
Look at that.
So archery is actually really, really good in the Chinshi.
He's going to make it. Oh, yeah. He just barely makes it. Now he has that vision. Now he knows he needs to be placing down that bridge in order to get those ruins in the south.
Yeah.
Let's see if he goes for it.
Big win for you, Lowy.
I don't think he's going to be going for that bridge anytime soon. But what I am seeing is, thanks to the oppressive power of these archers, he's getting another siege. That is 6 stars going away absolutely nowhere. And this giant...
Actually, it's 11 because this swordsman did nothing. And it died immediately. So it's like...
Even swordsmen without the power of roads to assist them are nothing against archers. Just watch this as these archers are just going to melt everything in their path. That's 1, 2, 3. That's a siege.
It's a veteran. It's a veteran.
Look at these units. These units are so low on health. This giant alone is not going to be enough in order to kill that veteran warrior. He's actually got riders here in the back in order to start offering that assistance. Bop-a-da-bop. Shoots it on back. There's a second. Uses the swordsman to clear. But once again, I don't know how many times we're going to have to go through this lesson. That's one, and that's two. That's three, and that's a siege.
Another one.
And if he doesn't take care of these archers, they're just going to keep attacking and attacking like this. He has to do something about them.
Yeah, and the third his own giants. So
what I'm loving from all this is we're not even overcommitting on units. We have all we need at this point. These units are heading over to pick up these other villages on the eastern side while he's just teching up, improving his economy, because these archers, it's free real estate. They're picking up so much free value without any sort of road assistance.
And I mean, they are incredibly cheap to produce as well, right? They cost only three stars. And if you don't lose them, I mean, why not? Just keep shooting. Another giant, though. So wait, who was it? Asava does really have a big development, but he keeps being pressured so much.
Look at that. That swordsman's going to sneak in for the kill. That's another kill on a swordsman. The city is being sieged, this time with the giant. All in the meanwhile, what looked like should have been a dominating map.
Oh, wait.
Houdini coming. Yeah.
There's the Houdini!
I thought this might happen.
That's a beautiful one, though. That might turn around the game. Something like that, it's so devastating. I mean, the opponent loses a giant, you get a giant. What more could you want?
To stop being sieged, for one. But it looks like we're going to be able to start getting that. However, these archers, that giant is already down to 24 health. These giants are supposed to allow to help apply a push, offer defense. But these giants, just a moment they show up on the front line. Look at this. They're retreating. They're having to head back. They say, we can't do anything against this massive wall of archers. These archers are applying too much pressure, and we already have another giant, or in this case, at least a swordsman or a warrior. He gets to take his pick on how he's going to advance. And in fact, he's realizing right over here that, you know what, he's going to be able to keep unsieging the city. I'm just going to use this 1 HP warrior, and I'm going to start applying pressure right here on the capital.
Yeah, and he gets encircled. You know, there are units, La Liberators units coming from the west, you know, circling that lake. So it's looking very bad for Asava. They are attacking his capital.
Not going straight for the siege with the giant. Instead, making sure that he has to use his giant to attack the rider. That way, the giant cannot hit his giant. So he can keep building up more pressure.
And now roads and bridges. Tolbby, finally.
Oh, there's the bridge right there in the south. However, it's in the wrong location.
Oh, but he's still going for the ruin. The rider is going in the direction of the ruins.
I suppose we ended up building a giant over here, so we need to take the even longer route. But imagine how much faster this would have gone with one single bridge right over here. I'm calling him out for that one. But look at this. We actually have been able to sneak behind with a massive wall of archers. And we now have swordsmen, not one, but another one ready to immediately follow up through the road, through a bridge, because this water is here. It's in the neutral zone. So that could be anybody's bridge. Another way to apply an offensive force. That's 3. That swordsman's already down to 7 health, and in the meantime, they are weakening these wall of giants. But these giants seem to have forgotten something. There's another siege happening in the central city of Zijigu.
Another giant.
And right now, if you look at the economy, Le Liberateur is way ahead, right? Oh no, actually, they're quite similar. However, because Le Liberateur keeps on sieging, that means that Asava keeps losing out on a lot of stars. Every time the central city is sieged, that is what, 6-7 stars that Asava is not getting.
Is Asava running out of time? I think that's 2 turns now. He hasn't captured that city.
Yep, that is possible. Maybe he forgot. You know, it's this warrior is so far away from the action that it happens. Yeah, another turn.
Poor Asava, so overwhelmed.
Or maybe he's saving, you know, some money for something. You know,
Oh, there goes another siege right there with a low HP rider. However, look at this. Not too much really to explain. These giants have finished melting. He picks up trade. Perhaps he was trying to save for a better economy. And unfortunately, we're just going to put a 4th tally right there for still not capturing that village.
Yeah. Very exciting game.
Amazing, relentless assaults happening all the way throughout the entire game for Lilybotter. We're going to go ahead and pull this from Asava's point of view, and let's take a look at what ended up happening this game.
Yeah, our audience also noticed like so aggressive respect, nutritional analyst.
So right over here, even though it looks like we have such more economic power, but we ended up losing so much right over here. Let's just pull this up on turn 4. We still can capture this village here on the west, but we're trying to head into the exact center of the map. This warrior puts himself in such a precariously bad position with the effect of not picking up the scouts right here on the north, because we could have been heading to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations in order to get that early vision. If we turn off that shared fog, the replay fog, look at that. Look at everywhere that this could have gone. Even the worst case scenario heads over here. Well, it's not going to head 2 spaces over to this tile. It's immediately going to be heading south. And we would have had all the vision over our opponent if we just on turn 4 did an explore on that central city right over here. Imagine how differently this game would have gone with this warrior heading off safely to the side, training another one, so we can immediately start applying pressure for that village over here in the central eastern side of the map. What about you?
And also securing the western village.
Yeah, exactly. Even if he had gone east, his warrior wouldn't have died right away. He would have had a lot more pressure. He would have been able to reinforce on the capital. In that case, it would have been 2 cities versus 2 cities fighting over this one village. That could have gone on for quite a long time. On top of that, if Lilybotter would have claimed the village, Asva could still have diverted to the other village in the east. So indeed, the fact that Lilybotter managed to get an edge here, to get again, well, just to surprise Asava, is really what allowed him to come back into this game from what, in my opinion, was actually a quite poor spawn. He played it so well, also with giving up the village in the east. I can't stress enough how important that play was. Just the fact that he had an extra warrior around 1 turn earlier is really the kind of pressure he needed to be able to make sure that he would not get stuck.
It is so beautiful to just see a play that instinctually a lot of people would say is a terrible play, but honestly, though, here was definitely the game-winning decision of, instead of capturing the village, realizing that this village is safely his, he needs to fight for this one now.
Could I ask you, Tolbby, to turn on the fog? Because I was wondering if Asava could have, could see the Lilybotter had the archer. Because
at the beginning, he did not see any vision of Lilybotter having an archer. But if we ended up
but when they started fighting,
right over here,
I think he did, because he lost that warrior right away.
Then there's the
yes, wait,
bonus,
he does.
The bonus. Okay, so he could have predicted that. Okay, I was wondering if he could have prevented the siege. Yeah. Okay.
More than likely, I think the whole lack of scouting is the biggest play that caused that siege to happen in the first place.
Yeah, he probably expected there to be some lake in between, but well, the map isn't always how you expect it to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, in my opinion, a really beautiful game.
Yeah, great
one
comeback.
Favorite of this tournament.
One of the best, yes.
Probably one of the best, recognizing the map and understanding. That is, I think, our second game where a player recognized their win condition of a map and played it flawlessly. Those are the games that I live for. How amazing was that? All right. Well, we're going to be heading into the, was this the actual final game of the entire Chinshi bracket?
The second game of the finals, I believe. So at this point, Gueju, the opponent, was leading 1-0. Le Liberateur had to win this game and the next game in order to be able to become the champion. Which, spoilers, he does.
He ends up making it. We're going to see how he turns it around in the first one. So right over here, Lilibotter is going to have the host advantage, while Gueju... What are you working with here?
This looks very strange for Chinshi.
Water. Look at all this water access, but no land.
And even if you step onto the mountains, I mean, you don't really want to go in that direction, right? Because you don't have any good village indicators.
Yeah,
he should go west. Yeah,
this is everything. Here is screaming that is like a little peninsula to a lake. I would not be wanting to head west at all. So that's going to be really, really rough. Whereas, look at this. We have a potential early lighthouse heading over here to the north, heading over here into the center of the map. All of them are absolutely great for Lilibotter. Let's go ahead and figure out what they're able to see. And in this instance, we're able to immediately find 2 villages over here for Lilibotter.
Oh, but Gueju also finds his 2 villages, and Gueju goes for hunting instead of for mining. Another thing you see more and more Chinshi players do these days.
Quite interesting. Is it to pick up archery, or is it to just get the animals first?
I mean, if you go for hunting first, you do get your upgrades a turn earlier, which means you get to kickstart your economy. And if you look at this, well, he doesn't have the best mines, as opposed to on the Liberateur side. He has a big 4 spot for 3 mines, double 4 spot for 2. Gueju doesn't have that. On the other hand, Gueju has a lot of forests that are actually quite well positioned to maybe start building, making sawmills out of.
Yeah, he was very smart not to go south.
At this point, now getting vision over our opponent with a very good scout, picking up sailing first in order to be able to find all that vision. Look at this village right over here that both players are now fully aware of. Just absolutely there in the center of the entire map. Are they going to be fighting for this one village right from the get-go? There we go, finding ourselves another lighthouse just 2 steps away from the Eye of God.
With 3 more villages in the southwest, they will also be fighting over. And let's see what Liberateur does with his rafts. What direction is he going to go? Is he going for the center village?
His raft, is it going to go for the land on the... Oh, okay, he's going straight for the land there in the south.
So he basically decides the center village, oh, well, I don't need that. Land and south is more important.
Right. He does have the vision. He knows his opponent is not on the water. There's absolutely no water presence there. So he can spend an extra turn to get to the island first, just in case there's a very quick land bridge, which oddly enough, there is. That's going to be picking up our first giant, and it also has a quick way to get onto the water thanks to a conveniently placed water access.
I think we're immediately seeing our second giant. Yes, there it is.
I'm loving the placement of this monument, allowing to get the quick giants, but also look at this one spot right here that has not been filled in yet. His opponent is actually already planning around the potential power of going for markets.
Yeah, and he's immediately saying, well, this village is going to be mine. Even if you land there, I got a catapult, you're not going to stay there. So Gueju now has a lot of pressure on the water. I mean, those catapults shooting immediately at the Juggernaut. That Juggernaut, I don't think is going to want to approach any closer. He's also probably not going to want to make another Juggernaut in the water over there, because it is in range of the catapult. So the catapult there really gives a lot of pressure and helps him claim some dominance over his side of the lake. But on the south, we see that the Liberateur, with his move to the southwest instead of to the village in the middle, managed to claim the center of the 3 villages, meaning the one in the south is now also completely his. Gueju has no way of getting past him to claim that village. So with his move, he actually claims 2 villages instead of just 1.
That's such a wonderful play. So while we still have this neutral village over here, but also take a look at this border growth actually denying a little bit of territory. It's not going to make a massive difference, but it is going to make it to where his opponent is going to have less territory to be able to help defend himself, as we could have Juggernauts land onto the water right over here on the side. Pretty much every single one of these spaces right next to it is a quick threatened space for a Juggernaut to land on and get immediate splash damage.
Still, he is under a lot of pressure. And if you look at it, there's at the moment 3 giants on the Liberateur side, three giants on Greater side as well.
Oh, threads the needle thanks to the new update of the scouts is immediately to just barely find that last lighthouse, allowing him to pick up the Eye of God. And look at this. We don't have shared fog revealed, but except for this one tile here, every single space has been revealed by both players.
I mean, that is the power of Chinshi, right? Just having those mountains, having that extra view that they give. But whew, look at this, look at this. This looks very, very threatening. Very threatening, but is it really? Like, let's really think about this. Where are all those ships positioned? And what's positioned right next to those ships?
Right, absolutely. Immediately is melting 2 units right there on the front. Wasn't one of those a Juggernaut?
One of us wasn't Juggernaut.
With that, it's
Actually,
gone.
Down a Juggernaut.
I can't underestimate. We can't understate the current economic and advantage that Guizhou currently has. Look at these catapult positionings. Even if you can get to 1, there's still 2 more absolutely covering the entirety of this lake.
And I mean, look here, Guizhou also just got himself bombers. Putting even more pressure.
There. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even more pressure. So how in the heck is Lilybots are supposed to get back from this? Because there's no way. Look at this space all the way over here in the south, completely covered by 2 bombers. This spot over here, completely covered. The only entrance he has to get onto the lake completely safe is these 2 tiles tucked far away behind his mainlands. But we're seeing what the answer is, and it's brute force. Or at least we thought it was. They're already gone. But
I mean, he's being brute force himself, I think. Those Juggernauts are melting. I mean, Juggernauts are strong. Nothing against that, but if you just keep shooting at them, keep attacking them, they won't survive for too long.
Getting in these riders, because this territory here in the center of the map is actually barely... He gets a bomber of his own! They're gone! The entire navy! Where did it go?
Yeah.
I might have spoken a little bit too soon here.
They evaporated. Yeah.
Devastating blow.
What was that? Hold on. We're rewinding that. We're going to restart this turn 20. Look at this right over here. We have a baker's dozens worth of units. Sounds delectable and delicious, including these giants over here. Giants, a Juggernaut, absolutely blocking all this space right over here. 1, 2, 3, cleans it up, shoots it with a bomber. Juggernaut, more splash damage. Juggernaut, more splash damage. The Rider secures the kill on both the Giant and the Juggernaut and finishes mopping up every single one of those bombers. The last one has 2 HP. The Catapult, 3. These guys are going to do nothing. This one is on the village. It can't offer any defense. It's got to move back.
Just like that, the entire formation just collapsed. All because of that one small port in the east. Well, not just that. He attacked him on multiple fronts, but that one port in the east, that one raft he managed to get there, really opened up one entire side of the battlefield.
And it's completely gone, except for one Juggernaut. Guizhou's entire Navy presence has been completely eradicated. The flip has been completely scripted. I'm going to stick with that. And now Guizhou, despite having 6 cities to Lily Botzer's 5, is on the back pedal and is at the complete disadvantage.
And yeah, now the bombers are shelling from the other side, and I don't actually think there's any way for Guizhou to attack that bomber right now. Yeah, the rider.
3, 4.
No, even that's not far enough.
The rider has to be a knight. It's too far. At this point, here's what I'm seeing. The Juggernaut, the Bomber, the Scout completing the siege of the capital. And at this point, every other unit is coming in to say, I'm making a wall here. You can't defend your capital. Getting a double siege, triple siege. And with that, the game is over.
This was a really, really big shift.
What a comeback.
A lot of great comebacks from La Liberator.
Somehow, in one turn, he flipped the entire naval situation on his head. Through the bombers, through the juggernauts. I mean, and it happened 2 times, right?
It happened at the biggest one is right here on turn 20. So right here on turn 19, right before, pushing further in, using the bombers to apply even more pressure. This Juggernaut right here still has 38 HP. This one, 24. Unfortunately, using this catapult to not deal with the raft over here. And turns out that was the game-defining play. This scout, this raft over here upgrades to a bomber. And with that, every unit here, gone. Every unit here, gone. More. These bombers, gone. Everything melted just because a raft, which has 0 attack and can't do anything again, Navy combat, was not dealt with. And that turned the tide of the entire game. I mean, just
keep in mind, a raft inside your own borders can be anything you want it to be. That is not just a raft. That is a wish.
So what did the catapult end up attacking?
The Juggernaut.
It attacked the Juggernaut.
And wait, doesn't he also make another Juggernaut right here? Another bomber right here? I think there was one more bomber.
I think so. In order to attack this Juggernaut here, no, it does. It goes ahead and attacks there, but this catapult really just needed to deal with that one raft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! Because even if he wasn't able to deal with that, we have a big giant push here on land that was just being defended. We have a catapult here to apply extra defense to that, but this entire push completely obliterating the entire naval force. Even at this moment, what do? There's no coming back from that.
I mean, there is no coming back from it. He did resign a few turns later.
Yeah.
I mean, he also doesn't have the water anymore, so he can't do anything with cloaks. Like you said, maybe knights, but for knights, his opponent has actually decided to come off of the water and show himself. At this point, the Liberateur could just sit back, build up his bombers, and say, "Hey guys, I win this game now."
Oh my gosh, that was absolutely beautiful. I'm at a loss of words. I can't even think. I think both players, with the way this map was generated, there's not much else they could do differently in the early game. It literally just came down to that one brief micromanagement decision. Now, mind you, at this current point in time, the players have been playing for a very long time. So unfortunately, a minor misplay like that will happen in these live games. But it's these moments that reminds us that we're human. But these are the things we need to look out for if we want to bring out the best of ourselves in every single one of these games. And unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be a lesson that is going to be forgotten anytime soon.
Okay, guys, I think it's a good moment to invite our guest. Sorry, yeah.
Rammers would have prevented this. That says a talk from the chat. Possibly.
Hi, Liberator. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing?
Awesome. Yes, we are fine after watching your games. Such a great content, and especially those comebacks, amazing stuff. Yeah, so tell us more about this qualifier. How did it go for you? How did you feel? In those tough moments that you had.
Yeah.
Who was your strongest opponent?
Well, from the beginning, I was fearing Guaju as my strongest opponent. I unfortunately had away. He had host advantage for the finals, so I was not in a good spot, and he won the first game. The second game was looking really bad for me. So I was kind of discouraged at the middle of the second game, but I kept trying, and it worked out. So I'm happy about that.
Okay. Was Chinshi your first choice? Did you try in other qualifiers?
Yeah, I tried for Imperius before because I think it is the strongest tribe. But after that, I think Hudrik and Chinshi are close seconds. Yeah, both very strong tribes. I'm happy to be qualified with Chinshi.
So you don't have any strong feelings about them? It's not your favorite tribe?
No, I think Chinshi is one of the strongest. No problems here. I'm glad to be qualified with Chinshi.
Did you practice a lot before this qualifier?
No, unfortunately, I did not have that much time. I did practice a bit. I do know the tribe. I practiced a bit. I knew that I had to go for forages into markets if the spawn allowed it, and if not, if it's a big lake in the middle, I have to take water control. Yeah, I practiced a bit, but not intensely.
Okay, so I'll give you a couple of questions to our commentators. So guys, go ahead and ask our champion. Who goes first?
Wannyboy, you got anything? Because of course I'm always going to be asking.
I was not immediately expecting this question. What was, in your opinion, the best game you played in the series?
The best game I played, definitely Game 2. Because Game 2 was very close. It was a very close game. The Eye of God play you're seeing right now, that was a very clutch play as well. Like there's a lot of tiny plays that are important in the long run if you add them up.
Yeah, and what do you think was the big moment that turned around? We've been talking a lot about right there, the bomber in the corner. Was there anything else, in your opinion, that really shaped, or was it for you as well, the bomber in the corner? That was the moment.
Yes,
that changed
everything. The bomber in the corner made a huge difference. He definitely should have killed that with the catapult. But also deciding to go in with the giants at that precise moment, because I think if I waited more, I was out of the game. And he would just chunk my giants down, so I had to go in at that precise moment. He overextended a lot, I feel like. So he made mistakes, and I was able to punish them. I was playing defensive with my riders, right? And when he tried to push me with his giants, I could trade back with like cheap units like riders. I didn't need to go rammers or scouts.
Yeah, you definitely got a lot of very nice trades in here. That's
yeah. And
Tolbby?
I feel like that was the game.
Well, normally I'm always asking about like what's your opinion about the other skin, but you actually were one of the few players that was actually using the skin.
The Chinshi skin is a very nice one.
Have you ever tried to make some form of diplomacy, Chinshi or Chapeau play work in order to play through the ninja thematic and just try some other form of tactics?
What do you mean diplomacy? Like,
because they're ninjas, you got to go with those cloaks.
Oh, okay, go with the ninjas. Yeah, those ninjas are pretty cool. I don't know what the daggers look like though. I don't know about the cosmetic.
No, they look the same, I think.
They look the same?
I'm pretty certain they look different. I mean, they have the chapeau band.
No, but I like it for the shurikens, for the archers and the scouts.
Yeah, we saw them in action, so yeah, we can tell. Yeah, for me actually, this game on this peninsula was I think the best one. How you move that warrior back and then like applied so much pressure to your opponent, because here this game and the first one that we saw, this is like pretty even setup. So like obviously your opponent made this mistake with the bomber, and there in the first game, like it was like it could have gone either side, but this one in where you defended this peninsula and then it expanded and won. This was like a top
Yes,
play.
I was very proud. I was very proud of winning this game.
Yeah, so congrats.
An amazing game. One last question that I've forgotten the question twice. So I do have one. I do have one more, and it's a. Were you playing IMO before they received the buff to their playstyle with forges
Yes,
on the?
I've played a bunch of IMO before the buff.
Or
the
Shinji.
Chinshi, you mean?
Or Chinshi. I meant Shinji.
Yeah. It's a very nice buff, definitely. I think the 7 stars you get from the start is a good change in the game.
So far, I've seen nothing
Yeah,
but
it
beneficial
puts them
effects.
like toe-to-toe to top tier tribes. I feel like Chinshi now is like same tier as T0 tribes because of the 7 stars.
It is
That's
crazy how
definitely
much
the
difference.
bigger buff compared to like the forges on
There you go.
on
Chinshi's
forests
tier 0
or
tribe.
whatever.
So maybe since we are talking about yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, is my connection bad? Yeah. I feel like the biggest buff, like it's a very good change that they made to the game, making every tribe close to the same level. Because there used to be a big difference, and now it's close.
Yeah, we are losing you. Yeah. Yeah, now you're back. Yeah, so Zikizu from the audience is asking how much worse is Chinchi compared to Barter. Maybe a quick answer to that from all of you before we let Liberator go.
In my opinion, Chinchi is better than Barter at the moment because of simply the resource rates you have. For example, if you get a lighthouse that you can get from a mountain, not necessarily a lighthouse spawn, but that you can get T1 upgrade, you get the workshop, and the difference, like you have basically the same economy as Barter. The only difference is that Chinchi has access to mining and smithery, whereas Barter's only play is going rider roads or fishing, and he has less giant potential, less economy. Yeah, I feel generally Barter is the worst tribe.
What do you guys think?
I wouldn't immediately say worst tribe, but Barter is very well. Barter has to be very aggressive early on, right? It can get its economy up sooner than the other tribes, but not that much sooner. So you really want to leverage it. You really want to push forwards. Claims on terrain, Barter does have quite bad resource rates. Actually, they don't have many forests, even though they are the forest tribe. So Barter really wants to claim as much terrain as possible with what they have, and be aggressive that way.
Tolbby, last word.
I actually haven't played a lot of Barter. I've played almost every other tribe quite a bit recently on my own time, but Barter I think is the only tribe I haven't touched yet.
Okay.
Yeah, new changes, so I unfortunately can't say anything about it.
Yeah. So there you go, Zikizu. You had two players answering. I hope you're satisfied. Okay, thanks, Liberator. Good luck in the face-off during on Saturday, and good luck in Stockholm. Hopefully you'll qualify.
Hopefully, yeah.
So
Thank you. Have a good one.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Bye.
See you there.
Okay, so now we can move on to Luxidor, which is the second qualifier that we are covering on this live stream. So the winner is Meister Lampe, a very famous figure in the Polytopia community. Some say he's the best of the best. So let's see how he performed and who did he beat on his way.
I think if we're paying attention to our previous one, there's the name going to be also recognizing Icy Inferno was playing in one of the previous tournaments as well. So Master Lampa is going to be our host purple right over here on the eastern side of the map. And one important thing to bring up is this is an archipelago map. All right, Wannyboy, what sort of notes do we have about Luxidor playing on archipelago?
Well, I mean, Luxidor can get a big capital very quickly. So that means, even though on archipelago, generally, you have to struggle a bit to get your giants out, that won't necessarily be the case here. Because if you just think about it, in your capital, you only need 6 population to get your giant, right? So it means you have 2 fish, you put down 1 port, it's only 3 more population that you need. This 3 population can come from a lighthouse, it can come from a few connections, but, well, we will see the Luxidor giants really, really soon over here. In general, also, on archipelago, you have a little bit less stars than normally, but Luxidor, starting with their 4 stars per turn, also managed to actually do quite well in that regards. So, in my opinion, they are a really nice tribe to play on this kind of map.
All right, and then lastly, we're going to be able to easily see the land that's supposed to belong to both players because we have the Amok skin playing by Icy Inferno here in the West. So this is one of the group stage games. So this one's not going to be one of the finals. So this is definitely going to be anyone's game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and invest into our capitals. Both players training a warrior, in fact, training their second, as they are technically allowed to have 3, able to go in all 3 directions. A quick climbing play.
He basically decides, I don't want to go into the water here, I don't want to go in the back, because he doesn't have any port spots towards the front. And Luxidor does have enough stars to just be able to say, okay, I'll get this tech now.
So with that, Icy Inferno already has vision over his opponent. Let's see if he'll be able to do anything about it.
They both see each other right from the start. Some good lighthouses as well here.
You were actually just mentioning about the importance of that lighthouse. Immediately picks it up.
It's going for a second, yes.
Gets the second.
He doesn't have any more explorers for the moment, so it will stay with. We will have to stay with 2. Oh, no. Is he going to do it? Nah, he wouldn't. But both players actually have full vision of each other at the moment, so they really know what the other is doing, and they're playing with everything they got. All the cards are on the table.
Turn 6. Icy Inferno picking up the first giant. Is that going to be another explorer for the lighthouse? It looks like, but because of the lack of sailing, barely is able to find it. He was determined to find that lighthouse. Definitely not one of my explorers. With that, we're getting ports, no roads. 3 of the cities are now connected. Just needs another. Immediately getting the monument, the northern city. Both players are focusing on their economy because, as Wannyboy was mentioning, economy on archipelago maps can be really troublesome to come by. We got 5 villages.
If you have juggernauts in the water, you don't need to spend money on scouts immediately. You can use those to push forward a little bit before you have to actually invest in the more expensive navy. So at the moment, Icy is ready for a real big push. However, we do have a very, very sneaky raft up there.
Yeah.
Look at that. In fact, getting a second onto the map. Look at all this naval presence. We even have this one land tile right here able to apply coverage. looks like we're going to be trying to form some sort of wall. A rammer makes landfall, and it's going to be absolutely dealing with this. All right, well, it ran away, but it's going to be dealing with this.
Oh, but the rammer will not survive for long, I think. Look at that. There's a random sword ruin right in the correct position to take out the rammer and to go for that village. I mean, he can go for both villages.
Yeah, both villages.
The sword ruin.
Mm-hmm.
We do have an early game siege, though. This 29 health giant, I don't think it's going to be able to hold. That's the first. That's the second splash. Bop-a-da-bop. 9 health. Scout and secures the kill. Just barely.
That was so close, though.
As soon as we have one more port placed right over here, and there it is. That's going to be enough for the Grand Bazaar. That's a free 3 pops now available. Whereas over here, Meister Lampa actually still only stuck at 4 cities. A major production disadvantage now being at 5. So it's going to even that off just a little bit. But the swordsman sneaks in. We have 2 rafts able to apply some defense. So with these 2 rafts able to turn into scouts and a rammer over here, I don't think the siege is going to hold. We got more giants being formed here in the center of the map.
But what if siege does hold? I think that's what Meister Lampa is thinking at the moment. Let's just go all in on that. He also has a giant very nicely positioned, giving a little bit of cover. Even though it's only at 8 HP. I mean, Icy just had to sacrifice a raft for it. A rammer for it.
Icy is
the unit is still alive, but the rammer is also the value is in the 5 stars you put in there, and that is gone now. Immediately going for another giant in the north.
That quick giant in the north, that city's not going to go down anytime soon. So while he's saying, hey, if you want to take this back, you're going to have to send in not just 1, but at least 2 cities worth of production for that. In the meantime, look at this massive force about to be applying pressure to the city here in the center of the map. The scouts cleaning up.
Actually, does Icy even... Oh, well,
that's it.
That's enough.
That's the reservation.
Let's take a quick look at victory here. Did Icy ever get his deep water movement? Did this Icy have scouts? No, he doesn't.
No, he had to invest too much into everything else. He never was able to get sailing.
And so that might actually have been... that's actually an important factor here. Because although Icy had a lot of very strong units, his rammers, while attacking, were always exposing themselves. So he could not build up a strong backbone for his army. Everything he was putting in was also, again, being targeted. Meanwhile, Meister Lampa throughout the entire game did get scouts, did get this presence that he could spread out. He could just keep dishing out these pinpricks. And although a rammer takes out a scout in a direct battle, I mean, if you just have all those scouts at the same time, you put some rammers in front of them, then the opponent's rammer suddenly can't do that much anymore.
Whenever units are trading at all times, so some of them are able to get trades in for free, it is eventually going to add up, and whoever has the most units at the end of the game typically is the one who wins. That is a very great observation to have made about the lack of scouts. Yeah, that was definitely a really big turning point. As I'm going to be getting ready to pull up the next game, was there any other points you wanted to point out that occurred in this game?
I think the main thing was the giant siege that just barely didn't hold. The fact that Meister Lampa had to invest a lot in keeping that, in taking down the giant, but he just barely managed. Also, perfect order. Using that 4 health scouts, he wouldn't have been able to use the other scouts because of the blocking warrior. So it was really just that 1 4 health raft that was able to allow him to get there.
Yeah, if the city was gone and IC would have taken it, I don't think Meister Lampa would be able to, come back from that.
Even just the importance of the order of this entire siege gets the swordsman in, converts this into a rammer, and with these 2 units is able to absolutely kill the rammer here on the water. There's just not enough forces here in the back. This is just well executed on the defense. This giant that was a juggernaut still actually isn't even dead, despite all of these units that invested themselves just to try to kill it. At this point, he ends up losing a city in the entire trade. Very well played.
Yeah, one last comment about this game from Aitak. Yellow Omok's color looks magnificent. Yes, we agree, but they were the losing side, so not so magnificent.
I absolutely could use being able to choose my own color to play as. I mean, I would play orange every single time.
Maybe someday.
Soon, trademarked.
Yeah.
All right, this next game is going to be played on a small lakes. This time they actually have a lot more territory to expand into. So compared to Archipelago, what are we looking for on this map?
I mean, first of all, just look at those glorious fruits. That's what I would have wanted. We don't see so many good resources other than those fruits, though. So if you look around, not the best. We are playing lakes, so it is possible for there to be villages at the edge. So that means northwest of our purple player. There are still some options, but a lot of ways to expand in the southeast, of course. But the players don't know about each other. They don't know that they're so close. So we might actually see quite a close cage fight.
Are you going to be training 4 warriors right at the beginning to explore in 4 different directions?
4 is a lot. Although, actually, yeah, for purple, that might be something you would want to do because there's just so much to see here. I think normally I would stick to 3 explorers, to 3 warriors for exploration, just because, well, oftentimes they start getting to each other's ways. You might want them to back each other up when you're fighting for a village. So sometimes you do want to actually double them up. But 4, I think that's a bit of a tall order. But let's see what they think about it, because they're our finalists, right?
This is actually still in the group stage. So this is going to be Meisterlamp versus Jeberzoid. Is that how you pronounce that one?
Yeah.
Jeberzoid?
Yeah.
Jeberzoid is going to be playing as the Barter Black here in the western corner of the map. Without further ado, let's let them start exploring. Are they going to be supporting each other with the warriors? Not quite.
3 warriors on both sides. Oh no, 4 warriors! Damn it!
There's the 4 warriors, but look at this. The warrior went away, and at this point, he's going to threaten a trade. And immediately, Jeberzoid recognizes that this is going to be a player signaling that they're going to be aggressive, and brings up the perfect response. Just look at that rider response, able to get in, get the job done, and get out.
Yeah, that's a nice choke point there.
He also made the rider just at the moment that he discovered Meisterlamp. He knew, I will need this. If you look here, it is 3 cities. Well, it's going to be 3 cities to 3 cities. Oh, going for Lighthouse. Really nice. That one would have been difficult to get otherwise. Doesn't get the second one, though.
Want to be looking over here, because look at this. We actually have the potential position of 1 more suburb here in that northwestern side of the map, but it hasn't been found, because this one is definitely the 2 that belongs to Jeberzoid. It's actually, he now has all the techs he needs in order to get his first giants. He's got 2 pops. 2 pops, that's enough. He just hasn't been able to afford it yet.
I think Meisterlamp is thinking the same, because Jeberzoid is knocking at his door. He can't do anything else. He needs to get a giant up just to have a bit of safety. But that's also the thing about Luxidor. They get their giant so easily. They just need 3 techs, any 3 techs. It really doesn't matter. Any 3 economical techs will give you your giant.
What?
And so it's almost impossible to pressure them.
Wait a minute. Yeah. What? Hold on. Do they both have the same suburb? Is that allowed?
Yes, that can actually happen. If the game creates suburbs for one player and there's no room for suburbs for the other player, then it's just like, oh well, then we
Right.
don't make suburb
No
here,
room
and then
for
they share the
suburb.
same suburb.
Okay. Absolutely no room for suburbs for the other player, but I'll allow it. So I don't think it's going to matter that much in this case, though, because while it looked like it was going to be absolutely overwhelming for Jeeberzoid, in the meantime, Master Lampa has actually expanded into the back and now has 5 of the 10 cities. The last one is going to be all the way in the southern corner of the map, which no player is currently near. And look at that. The first giant is actually applying pressure and getting the first siege and takes the city.
Oh my god.
He flips it.
I mean, at the moment, with only 3 cities left, I'm not sure what else he's going to be able to do here. Oh well, it's going into
Well,
water.
He is getting
Sees
into the
another
water.
village. Sees even here, he's later than Meisterlampe. He might still be able to go for his I've got though. With the warrior in the south, and I have got can be really, really good. It has 3 free population. They can put anywhere. 3 free population can really be the difference between a giant and no giant. And as we can see here, the giants already really, really mattered in this game. But Meisterlampe has his I have got. He's putting it down. Going, he has 6 cities. That means he is able to make the Grand Bazaar next turn. And the Grand Bazaar, well, that's another giant, right?
Yeah.
That is going to be another giant. And look at that. Trains an archer and gets a giant himself. The city in the south is now captured. At this point, the entire map has vision on it. Going to be leveling it up with getting that Grand Bazaar, pushes the giant away. And at this point, I think Jeeberzoid is realizing that despite having an amazing amount of archers currently safe here, they're not going to be able to do too much more with this low HP giant. And eventually everything here is going to be clearing it out for the win.
Also,
He
those
resigns.
archers look like they're defended, but Meisterlampe could just put down some bridges, and suddenly all the archers are in the open.
Every
Yeah.
single one of those would be exposed.
Yeah, I was expecting the other way around. So like that Jeeberzoid will be putting bridges and defending this choke point, but it did not happen.
All right, so what play in this game really struck out to you as the real deciding factor of this entire game?
First of all, here, the fact that Meisterlampe did not have the pressure to take this village, that Jeeberzoid was able to protect it, that's something that really put Jeeberzoid on there. However, after that, Jeeberzoid was forced to stay around the middle. He didn't really have many options to expand further. If you look here, he doesn't even have good water access. The only water access he has is in this village in the front, which is under a lot of pressure. But Meisterlampe was saying, okay, I'm not going to invest anymore here. I'm going to pull back. I know I can defend. I can make a giant. He doesn't have a giant right next to me. The moment I need a defense, it will be there. So while Jeeberzoid was putting on pressure, was investing in an attack, Meisterlampe was just going out, exploring, going for the ruins. And I mean, that's him recognizing one of the big strengths of Luxidor, that giant.
As a very well early executed giant that allowed the pressure
Do
to be applied.
you think, putting this no, it's not Grand Bazaar, it's the first monument, I forgot.
The Park of Fortune.
Yeah, the Park of Fortune in this southern city was a good choice instead of investing more in this CD like on the bridge that is bordering Meister's
Well, the
capital.
thing is, the city over there, it really has very good resources. So even with that monument, I don't think he would have been able to pop another giant there. It would have been different if he had a second monument ready to be found, but I have got as far away. Killer Monument is not for now. With only 4 cities, he can't get a Grand Bazaar. So I don't really think that Jeeberzoid had any way of making sure he had the giants in the frontline city, even if he kept his Bark of Fortune ready.
And what about putting his the giant? Was he able to defend putting the giant on the city or not, Tolbby?
So
Yeah, because the giant was there for a moment. Yeah, so he was able.
So the Giants actually wasn't able to make it to the city in time because at this point he gets to the city. I think it really came down to if he really wanted to protect it, the only other option would be to train defenders. But at that point, you're training to slow down the opponent, which in this position might have been the right idea because there's no way for his opponent to immediately apply that siege. It would have stopped the pressure that was being applied at here,
Actually,
but I don't know if it's the right play.
If you look here, if you open the tech tree again, there is an option that he has. Roads cost 10. He has 6 stars left. He could have rotated his own giant onto the city to say, I want to defend it. However, it's not necessarily the best play because at that point, his opponent, Meisterlamp, would get the first attack. So if he had placed his giant on the city right here, Meisterlamp would have gotten in one attack. Meisterlamp's giant would be winning the duel, but he might have kept the city long enough to build up his archers, to build up other ways of defending it.
Yeah, because this was the breaking point in this game. So he lost the city and he actually couldn't get it back and recover. So I think it was worth it.
I think it would have been worth it too, because it even allows I hate to be the one to always pull it out, the bridge play to support and defend the city, because else he has to go all the way around this mountain. Well, I guess not all the way around because he has climbing. So through the mountain just to apply extra defense. But also one last important thing is he doesn't have to pick up sailing in order to go across. Because if we look here, there's actually a potential bridge right here on this tile if we turn off that replay fog, allowing a new potential offense across the bridge to attack this city.
Yeah, it would be even worth it to actually step off the city and attack Meister.
I think Rhodes actually might have been, even though he would have lost his giant sooner, but it would have allowed a lot more flexibility compared to his opponent.
Because then Meister's giant, if he sieged, he already so Giberzoid had already archers, and I think they would have killed the giant. So yeah, I think he simply, I don't know.
Of course, he wouldn't have had the archers.
What was he thinking?
Yeah, he wouldn't have had the archers. Yeah,
that is.
But he would have had an extra turn to save up for the archers, though, or at least spam out riders to just brute force it. Maybe. I don't know. This one's a tricky one to decide, but definitely just letting this village go was the deciding play that affected that caused the rest of the game to be lost. So I think it's just figuring out how to handle that turn better would have been the biggest thing to improve for future games.
Yep. I think so too.
I definitely think, I don't know if it would have been tricky because he would have been behind in cities pretty much the whole way through. But if we're also talking about that bridge play, if we just turn off the replay fog, and then we go to this turn where he was supposed to try to capture it.
Well, at this point, he couldn't bridge over to capture it because the bridge would have cost him 15 stars. He wouldn't have been able to also get the warrior there, so the rider there. So I think
the more important thing, though, is this warrior actually would have been able to win the race for this village because these units would have been too involved in potentially fighting over the bridge.
And also, Giberzoid gets access to Meister's continent with this city. This coastal city.
Randy, I think you're right about the bridge, at least about the road play, but it opens up so many opportunities for the rest of the game. I definitely think it should have been roads.
And one more thing to point out is, with this city between them, Giberzoid has access to Meister's capital. So that's it's a big thing when you have your city next to your opponent's capital, because Juberzoid's capital is kind of safe, behind the front line.
But well, at this point, it was over, right? The moment Maaslampe took that village,
Yep.
he had basically won the game. He had more cities, he had the better access, and there was not so much that Juberzoid could do anymore to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's watch the last game.
Alrighty, and this one, of course, is going to be another one, which someone brought up that they loved the yellow on Luxidor. Unfortunately, it's not going to be on Almux. Almux is going to be purple, being played by Chris Krakens.
Really, really great guy, by the way.
Amazing player.
Yeah, that was a very tough final for both of them. So at the end, it was 2-1 to Meister Lampe, but Chris put up in like a hell of a fight.
Yeah, this was actually the last game of the final. So this was a game deciding who of the two would have been able to go to Sweden.
Not to Sweden, not yet, but to the face-off.
Right. Well,
I know, like we get excited, but yes, it's face-off first, and then Sweden. Yeah.
So one thing I want to point out, just ever so slightly, is just look at how much this is mirrored. So we have two fish, two animals, which is typical of that. But we have basically identical resources. We got 2 fruits and an animal for both players. However, for Chris, it's in the wrong direction. Both their fruits are just in the wrong. Like, how equal of a setup this is currently looking like. Heck, even this is not leading to some massive lake because we've got the land over here with that shoreline.
They also both have marches in the way of their diagonal direction towards the center.
It's going to be very tricky in order to traverse that. Are you getting an early climbing in order to get that vision?
I don't think I would get climbing right away. First, get a few warriors, right, to walk around it. But after that, who knows? I mean, you do want to claim the terrain as quickly as possible with those Luxidors. And we saw already in our previous games that our Luxidor players were taking climbing very early on.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and accumulate our riches and train those warriors out. The final game of the Luxidor qualifiers for the World Championship before the face-off. So with that, we do see an early climbing. However, he ends up losing the initial race. But look at that. He's going to be able to bop, secure the kill, and with another warrior immediately following up right behind. But with the rider in a second over there, these are trades that he's going to be able to make in order to fully clear everything out. That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. With the full potential of claiming both villages early on. Only if he has the vision,
Does he have vision? Yeah, does he have the vision? Yeah.
He does!
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, but he doesn't actually go for it because he doesn't know what else is in the fog. So he decides, I'm not going to risk putting this rider on there, because if you put this rider on that village, then Chris would have been able to kick it off if Chris had any more units nearby.
Ooh, and he's going to be seeing real soon that he could have been able to, but that's still the correct play to play it safe, pull that rider back. Because the worst thing you could do is lose that rider for free against a warrior.
Especially if that warrior then also gets the village that rider was standing on.
Just look at this offensive front and the first giant. So any potential early game attack is immediately being canceled. Getting another explorer off. He's going for the other lighthouse.
And he gets it.
These explorers, these games are going so far. He realizes this ruin is open for grabs. Chris can't do anything to prevent him from getting it. Going for a second giant, really wanting to go in here, using the giants to push himself forward in order to be able to secure the village more quickly. The only reason he could push forward, by the way, is he already had climbing, so he could go over the mountain. However, Meister Lampe, with an Eye of God, is putting down well, getting some population in the front, threatening to go for his own giant, and yes, there we have it. Meisterlampe making giant right next to Chris's capital. So even though Chris has 2 giants here, Meisterlampe is saying, no, I'm not going to just give up the city to you. You're going to have to fight for it. And, I mean, with all these units nearby, Meisterlampe also just showed that he has sawmills, so that means the catapults are also coming.
Oh, the cloak play. So with Meisterlampe able to take Chris's suburb city, at this point he's saying, look, you leveled it up. I'm going to take full advantage of that, and I'm going to hit you with a cloak. And immediately the counterplay is being executed. What is that counterplay? Fill up every single space around the village. It doesn't matter how high of a level that city is. If that cloak get in there, look at that. It only produces 3 units.
All 3 also in direct range of a giant or a catapult, so they won't even survive till next round to be able to attack someone. And I think that was Chris's only cloak, right? Because at the moment, Meisterlampe is so close to the capital, he can't make any more cloaks. If he makes a cloak now, it just dies to a rider. That's a free capital siege. That's game over.
Look at that. That defender is going to be trying everything he can. We've got a solid wall of defenders, but you know what defenders are weak against? Look at this line of catapults. In fact, this one over here, built on the city, says, I don't need to trade any units. I'm just going to siege your capital. Because at this point, I understand the way to win the game, and that is to take your capital. That is the game. Chris has to resign.
Very, very quick game. Very intense game also. Those 2 players really tried to pull out all the stops. Meisterlampe is the one who came out on top with all of his catapults. Those catapults, man, they really did so much work in this game.
But I would disagree. I think the riding was the deciding factor. So
that early game riding, in order to win that early game skirmish here in the center, we're going to go ahead and bring that up for the 2 of them. So with this play, while all the units supporting it were there and correct, but at this point, all of these units are really low on health. And even if we get our own riding, because even though we could have afforded it, but in this case, he opted to go for a stronger economy, is also opting to go for an explorer, I think to help push out a cheaper giant in the capital, but that cheaper giants is actually going to cost him not one city, the one that is going to be on Meisterlampe's side, but his own suburb as well.
Chris might have actually been able to go for the second city. Could we go back?
Yeah, could we go back, because I had the same question. Was it a mistake on Chris's side to actually fight for this central?
To turn forward with the shared fog.
Yeah. Yeah, here with the shared fog.
So Chris goes in. Yes, this was, I think, the correct play to attack here. He didn't know that Meisterlampe had riding to support. He maybe should have predicted it, because he knew Meisterlampe's distance from the capital. But at this point, instead of going for this village, it might have been better to just say, hey, I'm going for the other village. Because now he already knew that Meisterlampe had at least
could Meisterlampe because at this point he did not have the vision, right? The Meisterlampe did not have the vision.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, he didn't have the vision that, hey...
Yeah. So I would say this was a mistake on Chris's side.
Should have just recovered here, let this capture happen, and capture the village. Yeah.
And how many stars did Meisterlampe have? If Meisterlampe had enough stars to make a road, then Meisterlampe would not have been able to push forward. So Chris would have actually been able to secure that village. It might have made a difference.
Yeah, so I'd say not getting riding and this mistake with sticking to fighting for this central village was decisive, because then things get kind of snowballed for Meisterlampe, so Chris couldn't keep up.
Let's go forward to around turn 12, the moment that Chris was a little bit back. One more forward, turn 11, here we go. So at this point, Meisterlampe pulled back his giant. Meisterlampe made a catapult in his capital. The catapult can't reach. At the moment, the giant, I don't think he would have been able to kill it, but the Meisterlampe knew he was able to get another giant in his capital. And that is what allowed him to take out Chris the Giant without any problem at all. Because the giant that Meisterlampe makes in his capital is what moves the catapult in the right direction. Yes, the catapult tries to push to the middle, then if it doesn't have any space there, it goes left. If nothing there, it goes right, left, right. Which puts it at a perfect spot to take down this giant basically for free. And at the moment now, there's a catapult, 2 giants defending the city. No way Chris is ever going to be able to take it anymore.
And at this point, there's also just not enough forces.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the units, this game is over.
Very well played. Alrighty. I actually don't really see anything else about this game. Gato, do we have anybody else? Anything else going on?
No, I just have a recorded conversation with Meisterlampe because he couldn't be here. So I think it's a good time to actually play it. So let's listen to what he had to say.
Hi, Meisterlampe. Good to have you here with us. So tell us, how did this qualifier go for you? Which stage was the toughest? Who was your strongest opponent that you had most problems with?
Hi. So obviously the qualifier went pretty well for me as I finished in first place, and that's why I'm here. I think my toughest opponents probably were Wars and Chris, who also ended up getting drawn into the same group as me. In the group stage, I went 1-1 against both, but I ended up getting the first seed because I 2-0'd Chiversoid, which they didn't. And yeah, then in the finals, I had to go up against Chris again. I also had the lower seed, so I was forced to win an away game, which definitely was a challenge.
Was Luxidor your first choice? Did you try in other qualifiers?
Yeah, so I'm not unhappy about qualifying with Luxidor in the end at all, but I also attempted to qualify in previous qualifiers. Well, the only qualifier where I seriously qualified was Imperius. There I ended up losing the tiebreaker against Mixu in the group stage. And then originally I had planned to try to qualify in the second week as well, but I didn't have time for the qualifier finals, so I skipped that week and now sailed with Luxidor this week.
Did you practice playing Luxidor before starting the qualifier? Did you put like a lot of time playing them?
I guess my practice mostly was just playing every tribe. I think I played like around 80 or so games with all the tribes before the the World's qualifiers and so on started, and in between. So with 80 games, I mean 5 games with each tribe. And I think most of them I just played normal Lakes live games. And then for the qualifiers final specifically, I maybe played like 5 to 10 games to practice for them, but I didn't do that much Luxidor specific practice.
Okie doke. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Good luck in the face-off, and hopefully we'll see you in Stockholm in December.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so that was Meisterlampe. Any comments? Last comments from you guys?
Well, I think I personally really like to see Marcelampe play in Sweden. He, as you said before, he has a reputation of being one of the best, if not the best player the game currently has. So it will be really exciting to see if he wins or if someone else will be able to take him down, because it was close. Chris did almost take it from him in these finals, which would have actually been a huge upset if the person known as the best Polytopia player would not make it to the finals.
Sure, but like many great players did not take part in those qualifiers, or they were taken out. So there's like not one dark horse, but a few of them, I'd say. I'm actually quite surprised that we have so many lesser known or even unknown players in this tournament.
Yeah, it will be a very exciting thing to witness. And as you said, we are discovering a lot of new talent for this game, because all of us old folks in this game, we know the people that we think are good players, and then suddenly you have World Championships, the moment that everyone really comes out to play, and you see all those new people competing, sometimes even winning their tribes. Is going to be an exciting time to see what happens.
Tolbby, any last words from you?
So I've been excited, especially to see how all the tribes are now playing out. It feels like the early game has been a lot faster, but it also feels like every single tribe definitely has a much better place. And I'm really excited to see in the face-offs how each tribe not only pairs against themselves, but against each other. And I'm just super excited to see the next phases of the World Championship. Because for me, the important thing of how do all the tribes pair up against each other is soon going to be answered. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And we have some Wanny fans. So Aino says Wanny the greatest.
Thanks, Aino.
Yeah, and one more question before we go. So Itak asks, I have a question about the World Championships. Will the Polytopia calculator be allowed, or will it be old school pen and paper? So in the face-off, I guess it will be allowed, because the players will be playing on their own computers, at home probably. So I think it's not banned, but in Stockholm, I guess they'll have to resort to other methods. Yeah, I'm not sure really. That's a tough question. Maybe you know. Wanny?
I don't know about that. We would have to ask Radish about it. He's the one organizing most of this. I think if they would want to allow Polycalculator on the tournaments, they probably need a separate device that just has Discord, single server, only Polycalculator on there. You're allowed to use that, nothing else. Something like that could be possible. Maybe there's also a browser version.
Yeah, there's a browser version.
So there are a few options, but it would have to be strictly controlled. And of course, the organizers would need to make sure that if they use a calculator, they can't communicate with anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can actually if you join our face-off stream attack on the weekend on Saturday, I will try to get an answer for you. So stay tuned. There will be a long live stream on Saturday. We'll be showing, I'm not sure if all the games, but most of them probably. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you, Tolbby. Thank you, Wannyboy, for great comments and all the points you made about the games. We had really exciting content today, especially the Chinshi games were amazing, because with Meister it was like kind of like played well, but it was like in many instances it was calculated and like quite cold, I would say. But with
There were definitely fewer swings in Meisterlampers games.
Lally Bellator, he was like, all those comebacks, it doesn't happen that often. So yeah, we had a great time, and hope to see you on Saturday. We'll be in a different setup. Tolbby can't join us this time, but we'll probably do one more stream in 2 weeks time to get more insights about the face-off games. So he'll be back. So thanks again, everyone, and see you on the next one. Bye.
Goodbye.
Take care.